From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a huge night as Americans celebrate the 4th of July and return home after big traveling. They may also be returning back to a recession. A new report tonight reveals that the U.S. economy may already be in a recession. What does that mean for you? It means you got to get a stimulus check that is in every U.S. state by becoming a member, going right on this video right now and subscribing, joining the channel and getting the membership newsletter that has all those incredible checks in every U.S. state, over $100,000 of stimulus checks in every U.S. state. In tonight's recording, we're going to go over the situation at hand. A new report out of the Atlanta Fed says that the U.S. economy may already be in recession. We won't know for certain until July 28th, but you can't wait to that day. You need to get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state, and you qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get them. Rent, own, on children, without children, and if you're on benefits, SSI or SSDI, go get them. $100,000. They came from the federal government. They did not come from the states, and this is federal stimulus. We're going to go over how to get those incredible checks later in this recording. Stay to the very end. But we're going to start with the reason why to get these checks right away tonight. A new warning signal came in from this Atlanta Fed going into the weekend that said it's projecting negative GDP growth for the quarter we just ended. That is in view of the rising prices of gasoline. On the latest details on how this impacts your wallet and what it means going forward. Then we'll be looking at the situation holding about interest rates, what's going on with inflation, what's going on with recession, and why the next 30 days for this economy may be very troubling at issue. The issue is namely not only a recession, but also inflation remaining relatively high for this next 30 days, unemployment surging out of control, and the situation for corporate earnings coming on in and weak left and right. This could mean a financial cliff. We'll analyze what this means for your wallet, and later in this recording, see at the very end, we'll go over your checks going up. Yes, your checks are going up if you're on SSI and SSDI. Go right on this video and become a member. You're watching America's most watched show in prime time. It's Evenings LALATE, your financial source, and the breaking news starts right now. And good evening, everybody. Beautiful night for July 2nd, 2022, as Americans are celebrating the 4th of July weekend. But when they return back home, could they be returning to a recession? If that is the case tonight, you need to get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Go right on this video right now and become a member. Because what's happening is that this economy is changing very dramatically, very quickly. And you can't wait to get these stimulus checks in every U.S. state. You go right in this video and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, where it says join the channel, and get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday for members, the details of which are coming up later in this recording. Stay over this 1-hour broadcast as we go over where this economy is, where it's going, and how to get as much stimulus as you can. Tonight we start with the uncertainty of whether this U.S. economy is already in a recession. Back in the month of February, myself, LALATE, was the only American broadcaster financial news to report we're going to recession, but I said for 2023. The landscape, starting the middle of this week, was most broadcasters said a recession in 2023. And then came this breaking news. The breaking news going into the 4th of July weekend came from the Atlanta Fed's GDP Now that said, based upon their indicator, they believe the quarter we just ended on June 30th was a negative GDP quarter. That would follow after the confirmed negative GDP quarter of earlier this year. That would then qualify as us already tonight in a recession. Let me go over the details of this at issue starting right now. A recession is defined as 2 negative quarters of GDP growth. The first quarter of the U.S. economy was negative. We already know that. It was the first quarter this year and declined at 1.6%. The second quarter, we will not know whether it was negative GDP growth until July 28th. But tonight, you don't have to wait till July 28th. Tonight, you have the breaking news on LALATE that the Fed's GDP now from Atlanta says they're predicting the last quarter we just ended, the second quarter, was negative as well, negative 1%. That means tonight, you're in a recession. Folks, if there was ever a time or place to get a forced stimulus check at every U.S. state, you get it right tonight. It is over $100,000 a single individual. Now, let's make this very clear. This is federal stimulus. It's not state stimulus. When I say it's in every U.S. state, I don't mean that it's being paid by the states. I mean it's for people in every U.S. state. This is federal stimulus. This is from the federal government, from the president, did not require a vote of Congress, did not need Congress at all. It's executive stimulus, and it became law in the month of March. It is across the country. And so when I say it's in every U.S. state, it's not from your governor, it's not from your state legislator, it's not from their wallets, it's not from their bank account, and it's not from their laws. It's from the federal government. That's why it's in every U.S. state. How do you get this $100,000 approximately across the land? Stay with me. It's coming up later in this recording tonight. As we look at this data tonight from the GDP Now, is it accurate? Is it correct? What is the history of this tracker data? The history of this tracker data has a 0% error rate in less than 20 years. From 2011 to 2019, the GDP Now has been inaccurate none of those years. It has been perfect on its reporting. And that is why the data tonight is very troubling. This is why you want to know this ahead of time. Because if you wake up on July 28th, then the GDP Now says you're going to hear an announcement that U.S. economy is in recession. They're telling you tonight it already is. Why would they know it before the numbers release? Because the number released on July 28th is a delayed number based upon the collection of data. The GDP Now number is a live reporting, and its accuracy is right on the money 100% over the last 10 to 20 years when tracking it from 2011 to 2019. Here's what you also need to know about this data tonight. Additionally, another analyst report says that even if this did not qualify as a recession, we're definitely going to recession. The data comes from the National Bureau of Economic Research obtained by LA News Tonight for July 2nd, 2022, that the official definition of recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP growth. And yet, even if this is really not yet a recession, historically, every year since World War II, when this event happens, you go in a recession. Folks, this is very scary. Why is this very scary? Back in the month of February, when I said we're going to recession next year, that was the landscape then. American analysts now still believe that the recession is coming next year. But this is very troubling. Why? Because I've been looking at the stages of this economy with you over the last 2 weeks on the channel. And the stages at issue talk about recession coming next year. Big trouble. What's the trouble? That the recession could be coming 2 stages earlier. Let's look at the chart. I've been predicting for several months that the recession is coming in January 2023. That's stage 3. Stage 2 is a financial cliff. Stage 1 is where we are right now, or phase, or stage, whatever you want to call it. Phase 1 is a downward spiral of this economy between now and September. And then I say, I'm preparing yourself accordingly between now and September. But if the recession's here tonight, you better get prepared, because this is arriving months earlier. How many months earlier? 6 months earlier. That's why you have to become a member, get these stimulus checks in every U.S. state. You got to prepare yourself really quickly. What is definitely happening in the next 90 days? Next 90 days, unemployment's going up, gas prices are going up, and interest rates are going up. Also in the next 90 days, price of goods are going to go up, recessionary winds, and mortgage rates. Meantime, in the next 90 days, expect consumer confidence to fall, income to fall, and spending to go fall, and do not expect gas to go lower, inflation, or fast action on anything else. But here's the question mark at hand, is that inflation continues to go high. Are we in a recession tonight, or are we not? What I want you to understand is it's too risky. Based upon the data that this tracker is historically accurate over the last 20 years, then I want you to presume that it's going to be accurate again this year. And if that's the case, you're learning tonight, July 2nd, nearly 26 days before the official announcement happens, that we're already in a recession. Repeat, the official announcement would be July 28th. You don't wait till July 28th to prepare your family. Tonight, you're being told that the Atlanta Federal Reserve GDP now says you're in recession for July 2nd. You've got 26 days to prepare accordingly. How do you prepare? Number one, you relieve all adjustable rate debt instruments like car loans or credit card debt that is based upon flexible rates. And number two, you increase your amount of savings as much as you can. That's stimulus. We're going to go over that in just a second. The National Bureau of Economic Research basically says that every time this has happened, you have gone into a recession since World War II. Here's the big problem. Is the financial cliff still coming? In my opinion, it's still coming. And what is a financial cliff? Let's go over the situation of that starting right now. We first heard about the financial cliff during that exchange between Liz Warren and Jay Powell just days ago when he testified on Capitol Hill at the Senate Banking Committee. During that exchange, she said, "Don't you have a dual mandate at the Federal Reserve, Chairman Powell?" He said, "I do." And she said, "Your dual mandate was ensure that you have maximum employment and price stability." He said, "That is correct." What happened thereafter? She said, Is it possible that you're not going to get this right? That you're going to continue to raise interest rates to battle inflation, and you could potentially send us over a financial cliff? He said, in view of the economic events happening internationally, it's very possible. What would be that financial cliff, and what do you need to know about that financial cliff, and when would it happen? My opinion is that the financial cliff would be happening around the start of September. And what is a financial cliff? A financial cliff is exactly what it sounds like. You're walking along, singing your song, and suddenly, oops, oh, what? And then suddenly you're falling off a cliff. Do you recover? Well, it is a cliff. It is a cliff. Financial cliff is an unforeseen event that you fall into, and that it takes you a real big time to recover from falling off a cliff. Why is it unforeseen? Because you do not see it coming. Well, if you're watching this recording tonight, I'm telling you it's happening. Is it unforeseen? No, now you know it's happening. That's the difference. Who would it be unforeseen, this financial cliff, for? Americans who believe, celebrating 4th of July weekend, that the beauty of this weekend, the beauty of this economy tonight is the same as it's going to be in September, and it's not. Here's everything that's going to happen between now and September, in my opinion, and also let's look and see what they're expecting is going to happen. Between now and September, you're going to have the Federal Reserve announce a interest rate spike in just a few days from now. That's confirmed. And that the interest rate spike will be 0.75 of a basis point. That's my projection, but that's also what analysts are saying as well. In the next 2 weeks, you're also going to see the Consumer Price Index number released. That's the CPI that tells you what inflation was for the prior month. That's the month of June. It's released in July. Also, the next 2 weeks, you're going to have the latest Q2 2022 earnings report. Yes, we're waiting to see those earnings reports from corporate America because the last time we saw them in May, that's what caused the bloodbath. It started with Walmart and Target missing dramatically, and we went into a bear market, stocks, bonds, housing, and that's what started it. When we see those numbers, that's when we're going to determine if inflation went higher like it did in the month of May. Remember, in the month of May, it came in 8.5% when it was supposed to be 8.3%. If inflation has not peaked in the latest CPI number, you're going to see a big spook of the markets. Then we're waiting to see those unemployment numbers as well. The unemployment situation tonight is not good. 230,000 new jobless claims basically over the last 3 weeks. It's a prediction set on this channel first, and it continues to happen. Next, we're also going to see what's going on with the other parts of this market that consistently do not improve. They are housing, they are auto, travel, and leisure. And if these numbers continue to grow dramatically across the board, then the question mark is whether we're in recession tonight or that financial cliff is coming. What I got to tell you is that you cannot risk it. You have to presume that you're already in a recession tonight and that financial cliff is just days away. What would that financial cliff look like in view of housing sales falling, in view of auto sales falling, and in view of a financial storm out to sea? What you need to know is the following. In the case of a financial cliff, Americans will not be prepared based upon their perception that everything from 2020 is the same as 2022. What would happen? Number one, in the employment situation, Americans who think all the employment events of 2020 are still around will be blindsided. For example, let's say you're an independent contractor, you're laid off. You presume there's PUA, it's gone. Employees laid off, there's no PEUC, those extra weeks of unemployment benefits. There's no FPUC, that extra week of $600, that extra boost, $600 a week. Small business owners, you're going to be blindsided. There's no EIDL grant, no EIDL loan, no PPP. See the narrative? Everything that was great of 2020 is gone. What about in the home? The mortgage forbearance, gone. Banks can now foreclose on you. The eviction moratorium, gone. How about even the utility bill? They won't turn off the utilities, will they? Yes, now they can. You see how dramatically different this is? And then if you're on benefits like SSI and SSDI and you're expecting your benefits to go up in the next few weeks, they're not. That's why you have to get this forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. The situation tonight on labor is very telling. And why is it not good? The situation on labor tonight is the following: that there was 188,000 new jobless claims when we went to the pandemic. When we came out of the pandemic, we shot up to about 200, but we generally were about 188 when we came out of the pandemic. This is the problem. The last 3 weeks, we've been out of control. The last 3 weeks, we have been literally out of control. What are the numbers? 3 weeks ago, 230. 2 weeks ago, 230. Last week, 230. This is not good. And who projected it? I did. I projected 3 weeks ago it was going to be 230,000. What did it come in at? 227. 2 weeks ago, I projected 230. What did it come in at? 232. Last week, I projected 230. What did it come in at? 231. Spooking the markets? Not yet. Some analysts still saying it's a good number. It's not a good number, 230,000 new jobless claims. That's over 250,000 new unemployed people per week. What would spook the markets? What would indicate a financial cliff? How would you see a financial cliff? This is very important. Let's go over this starting right now. You'd likely see a financial cliff in 4 different ways in this economy. First, unemployment going out of control. 2, corporate earnings falling apart. Number 3, consumer confidence falling apart. 4, something very clear from the administration or Congress saying, this is not good. First, in the unemployment situation, I really think the number is going to be high in excess of 240,000. That's really what's going to spook the markets. 230 has not spooked the markets yet, even though it spooked me. It should spook you as well. But they're not really that scared by the 230,000 new jobless claims per week. I think if it gets over 240, I think that's when they get spooked. Number 2, the corporate earnings are going to shock people's socks off if that's what's going to happen. And that's literally less than 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks out. What will this look like? A second but more amplified version of the month of May. In the month of May, Walmart and Target reported corporate earnings, a major miss, and it spooked the markets because they had no pre-warning by either company in the retail space. And the bear market of this U.S. economy started. Then it continued to unravel even into this weekend as the retailer Bed Bath & Beyond reported corporate earnings, and it was a major miss, and their stock was down 20% in one day. The landscape has not changed, but understand, that was Q1, first quarter this year. As we go into Q2's reporting in just 2 weeks from now, if it repeats itself, folks, this is all indications of negative growth in this economy. Recession. That's what would spook the market. Finally, the last one that would really evidence itself big time is if anything else like housing, anything else like travel and leisure, or anything else like a statement out of the administration or by Congress saying, you know what, this is clearly not good, would wake up Americans to realize, wait a second, this financial cliff is in front of us. Now, Americans who do not follow this market are going to be in big trouble because you need to get a stimulus check in every U.S. state. You got to get it tonight because the financial cliff is definitely coming. It's definitely coming, and the recession's definitely coming, so why would you wait around? You go right in this video right now and become a member. Join the channel and get that incredible newsletter for members only, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system, and get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over these big checks one at a time. Now, what's also important tonight is the situation on gasoline. The situation on gasoline tonight signals that the White House administration and the Western allies are likely not to ever get this done because they're sticking to a narrative which is untrue and categorically does not solve the situation. The situation tonight is that inflation will be with us indefinitely if no one goes out and buys the missing gasoline. It's so simple. Let's go over the analysis starting right now. This is not a bear market. This is not the stock market. This is purely gasoline causing the inflation of this economy. The way this economy works is very simple. When you have a shortage of gasoline, then the price of gasoline goes up. The only way you get the gasoline prices down is you go out and buy the gasoline. Until you go buy the gasoline, then you have a big problem. Let's go over the equation starting right now. When Putin invaded Ukraine in the month of March, we had a problem. We immediately embargoed the Putin oil, the Russian oil. 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing per day. Also because OPEC Plus reduced capacity at the time. 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing per day. Initially Putin's fault. Tonight's whose fault? The Western allies. Joseph Biden, President Macron of France, Chancellor Scholz of Germany. They all understand they have to go buy the oil. It's missing, and they haven't. What month of this is? This is the month of July. And every month that passes, they don't go buy the oil's missing. 3.5 million barrels a day. Where would they buy the oil from? They would buy the oil from 5 countries. They are Brazil, they are Venezuela, Iran, Saudi Arabia and OPEC, and also and then also one final country as well. The issue at hand for them is they have not gotten the oil. And so what is the possibility of all those 5 countries? Let's go over each one of them at a time right now. First, in the case of Venezuela, the United States had a conference here in Los Angeles 3 weeks ago and barred Venezuela from attending. I guess we're not doing a deal with them. Brazil, same thing. They barred them from the conference. I guess that's not a deal happening. Then, as to OPEC Plus, of which Saudi Arabia is a partner, the president is traveling to Saudi Arabia, but was asked point blank, are you going to get some oil? He says, I'm not. I guess they're out of the equation. The final part of the equation we learned about again this last Friday, less than 48 hours ago, as Iran gave us the latest update on the JCPOA. The JCPOA is a potential agreement between the Iranians and the United States to remove embargoes that date back several years before the Putin invasion of Ukraine, in which we're embargoing all Iranian products because of their increase of nuclear warheads. And those negotiations have been going on for a very long time. Back in the month of April, I detailed to you that the negotiations were getting close to finalization, with the negotiations of Germany and France on our behalf with Iran in Switzerland. And then they fell apart. Why? We really didn't know, but now we do. Going into the weekend, Iranian officials have made the following announcement. They said, we're not going to negotiate anymore for this JCPOA because the United States is not moving on its negotiations. The takeaway is, again, Iran has 3.5 million barrels of gasoline. We can get it from them, but we're not doing the deal. What is the White House's statements? The White House consistently is making a series of statements about gasoline, which are completely economically incorrect information to the American public. First, the White House is talking about ExxonMobil, U.S. oil producers. Let's do the numbers very clearly. There's 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing per day. ExxonMobil and U.S. oil producers and our grounds do not have 3.5 million barrels in them. There is no 3.5 million barrels of oil in our grounds. So every time we talk about that subject matter, it's a deflection. Number 2, the White House administration has talked about a wonderful gas tax. Wonderful? Yeah, if you like $1.80, that's all it's going to give you. The White House wants to forgive for 3 months the amount of taxes you pay on gasoline to the federal government at the pump. If your gas tank is 10 gallons, then it's 18 cents a gallon times 10 gallons, $1.80. Is that relief $1? No, it's not. And finally, the President of the United States was in NATO less than 48 hours ago addressing the situation on gasoline. And he says Americans should get used to this. Americans cannot. He says the problem is Putin was his comment. That's absolutely incorrect. The problem is Biden, Macron, Scholz, and the Western allies. They need to go buy 3.5 million barrels of gasoline. Until they buy 3.5 million barrels of gasoline, there's a gasoline shortage. And as there's a gasoline shortage continuing, the gasoline prices remain elevated. I'm projecting gasoline's next stop to potentially go to $10 a gallon, or at least a high Brent crude of 155. Analysts agree as well. Tonight, the price of gasoline is lower. It's tracking lower at about 111, as Bitcoin is falling under 19,000, Ethereum under 1,000 as well. But I got to tell you, folks, this is a big problem. And I'll tell you why gasoline is a big problem for this economy. Gasoline causes a recession. Let me explain to you why. When gasoline remains high as a price, then it causes the consumer price index number, the CPI, to remain high. The CPI is composed of two numbers, gasoline and cost of goods, things like the items you buy at the supermarket. If gas is high and the supermarket items remain high, then the CPI stays high. What happens from that? What happens from that is that CPI is a inflationary number. And if the Federal Reserve sees that CPI number high, they raise rates. Tonight, we learn a little bit more about Jay Powell, that CPI, and also inflation with the data that came in on Thursday. Now, remember, if inflation is high, Jay Powell raises interest rates. And if the inflation remains high, Jay Powell continues to raise interest rates. And then what's the net result? You go into a recession. It's pretty simple. Now, Jay Powell, he is the other one running a false narrative. And what is it? That raising interest rates is going to solve inflation. It's not. And here comes the laugh a minute, starting right tonight. The core personal consumption expenditure, which is another inflationary benchmark number, was released on Thursday for the prior month. Of course, it was released on Thursday, which is in June, for the month of May. What was the number? You want to have a laugh? Here we go. The number was for the month of May, and it came in at 6.3%. Is that good? Let me show you how successful Jay Powell's raising of interest rates since the month of March, 3/4, half, and quarter, has worked or not worked. In the month of March, this number was 6.6%. In the month of April, it was 6.3%. In the month of May, released on Thursday, it was 6.3%. Looks like it's not been working. It doesn't work. His tools do not work, and do not go to your home improvement store because they don't have them either. Raising interest rate is not getting down inflation, and the core personal consumption number is actually the preferred instrument the Federal Reserve used for gauging inflation. The takeaway is Jay Powell continues to raise interest rates. It's not working. Again, this is why you want to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. These forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state are absolutely incredible, but absolutely desperately needed. Because now you see all these warning signals. You see the warning signal of gasoline, unemployment, the Federal Reserve, which I'm projecting is going to do a 3/4 basis point increase in early July. Yes, you need to get these forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Let's go over these forced stimulus checks right now. Don't forget to become a member. Go right in this video right now. Get the incredible newsletter for members and get those checks right away. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over these checks one at a time. First, let's go over this stimulus in part. The president, back in the month of March, had a series of executive orders, and that begat these wonderful stimulus checks. Over $100,000 a person. This is huge. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, if you make $150,000 less, go get them. If you rent, if you own, go get them. If you have children, if you don't have children, go get them. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, or not, still go get them because it's for all of you. This is federal stimulus. When I say it's in every U.S. state, it's not being paid by your state. It's not by state law. It has nothing to do with your governor, your state legislator at all. It's just available across the entire country. Now, $100,000 of forced stimulus checks. What's important to understand is that you need to get these numbers right now in your wallet before the financial cliff happens. When the financial cliff happens, Americans are going to scramble. They're going to look left and right. When they hear potential on July 28th that there's a recession currently in the United States economy, do you think they're going to get stimulus? Do you think they're going to start running left and right, grabbing as much stimulus as they can? Of course they are. If there was ever a date, you're going to say that's the stimulus stampede date, it's likely July 28th. Do you wait to get money by July 28th? No. Do you wait till next week? No. Do you wait to the end of this video? Well, yeah, maybe to the end of the video. But first, you go right in this video and you become a member. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over all these checks one at a time for you to get. You get these incredible checks because the recession may already be here, and you already know that a financial cliff is coming. In the second half of this video, we're also going to go over the Build Back Better Act. The Build Back Better Act is back on, baby. It's going to go to a vote by the end of the month of July, says Leader Schumer. This is huge. But should you wait for the Build Back Better Act to pay you money? No. Why? Because the financial cliff will happen before the Build Back Better Act pays you any money. The recession will be confirmed before the Build Back Better Act pays you any money. And the big economic downturn of this economy will happen before the Build Back Better Act pays you any money. And while I will be on point on giving you all the coverage you need to know on this channel about what's in the Build Back Better Act and more in the second half of this video, I want you to understand that you don't wait around for that, because that would send you over a financial cliff. That's how much I care about you. I want to make sure you get every check you can get today, that $100,000 on average in every U.S. state tonight. And then we'll also get Build Back Better Act thereafter, after you establish your financial independence, before this financial cliff. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over all these incredible sums of money one at a time. But first, go on to this video and become a member. Then subscribe and stay with me over the second half of this video so you learn about all these incredible checks, how to get them, where they are, and everything you need to know. Go join this channel, become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and stay with me over the second half. As Evenings LA continues with the details of every single check, we're going to go over them one at a time. Then we're going to cut over to Build Back Better Act. Then we'll go over the raise of your benefits coming thereafter. And then finally, we'll have a little bit of commentary as we go into a big weekend and conclude a beautiful 4th of July celebration. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as Evenings LA continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now in a big second half for a beautiful July 2nd, 2022. Did you become a member? Hope you did. Go right on this video and join the channel. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. Then get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system so that you get those incredible checks. We're going to go over each of these checks, how you do them, one at a time, starting right now. It's a big night with a lot of news, and we're just getting started. Also in the second half, we're going to go over the Build Back Better Act and the raising up of your benefits across the board. Let's go over all the incredible news starting right now. When you look at stimulus, it can come from a lot of different ways, but one of the ways that people always forget is the president. And back in the month of March, the president of the United States issued a series of executive orders for stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Viewers in the month of March said to me, LA, can you find us 4 stimulus checks? I said, yes, I will look for them. And I found them. These are huge checks by executive order by Joseph Biden, and they're big money. First, let's go over the broad stroke. Number one, big sums of money? Yes, absolutely. These are not puny checks. These are monster checks, tens of thousands of dollars. You deserve them. Number two, eligibility, incredible. Single individual, 75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get them. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, go get them. Every U.S. state? Yes, every U.S. state, because this is federal stimulus. This is not a state stimulus check. Repeat, it is not a state stimulus check. The governor is not writing you the check. It's not his wallet. It's not his money. It's not his law. And it's not coming from him. Will the state do anything? They might put the stamp on the envelope. Other than that, they have nothing to do with it. It's all Joseph Biden and the federal government. How much? On average, about $100,000. Series of checks. I give them a lettering system on this channel, A, B, and C. We're going to look at all of them starting right now. The first check is a wonderful $6,500 to $12,000 for stimulus check in every U.S. state. You absolutely want this, and you deserve it. Let's go over this incredible check starting right now. It is $6,500 to $12,000 for stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, 75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get them. If you are on benefits, go get them. How do you get this wonderful check? How do you get this wonderful check A? Very simple. Go right under this video and subscribe to the channel right now. Step 2, go right under the video and join as a member right now. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Then get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday for members only, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. The newsletter is the only kind of its type of its kind in the nation. It details where corn and wheat and oil is dramatically every night, and also gives you all the information about the stimulus. For in the case of Check A, you go down in that membership newsletter till you find Check A, and then it tells you a little bit about Check A. It has the link. You go right in and click the link. You go to the nationwide website, you choose your state, and then you choose the homeowner's weatherizing grant, and you get it. $6,500 to $12,000. Congratulations. But you're not going to stop there. You're going to go get Check B. Check B is $15,000 to $80,000 fourth stimulus checks. Single individual, 75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get it. If you're on SSI or SSDI or veterans benefits, go get it as well. How do you get this wonderful Check B? You know the routine. Subscribe to this channel, step 1. Step 2, become a member. Become a member under this channel where it says join the channel. People in the live chat that have emoji behind their name, they are members. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Then get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go down to where it mentions Check B in the newsletter. You click the link, it goes into the nationwide website, you choose your state, and you pounce and you apply. My goodness, look at this. We have only done Check A and B. A was upwards of $12,000. B is averaging $66,000, $80,000 for viewers. We're already at $100,000, folks. And we're not done there yet. Let's look at Check C. My goodness. This is a monthly stimulus check on average, $2,000 a month over 12 months. Yes, MSC, baby. And it is the residue of third stimulus, but viewers on the channel are averaging about $45,000. This is potentially the most important check of 2022. And you know why, because I gave you a teaser of it earlier in this video. Americans who are not prepared for the financial cliff are going to say, but I can't get evicted. Yes, you can. There's no eviction moratorium. You need to go get Check C, rent assistance. People think, oh, I can't be foreclosed upon. There's a mortgage forbearance. No, there isn't. They can foreclose upon you. Go get Check C for mortgage assistance. People say, oh, but they can't turn off the utility service if I can't pay the heating oil or the gas bill when it's 300 400% higher this November. Yeah, they can. This is not 2020. Go get Check C for utility assistance. Utility assistance, rent, mortgage, utility assistance, and more. And viewers have been doing incredible success stories from this since day one. This started on this channel in 2020, December 2020, when I helped viewers get money in the thick of the pandemic. To date, I have gotten viewers over $50 million from this channel. Look at these numbers for rent. Nisi at $20,000 all the way up to Elizabeth for $27,000. Chexy, go get it. Utility assistance. Angela from $5,000 all the way up to Nancy at $7,000. And Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. Go get Chexy. Mark's brother-in-law got $25,000 a year from Snap from this channel. Over 10 years, $250,000. Absolutely incredible. And then come the people who got multiple Chexys. That's what I teach you in the membership newsletter. You're not just going to get one utility bill paid. You're going to get multiple utility bills paid. You're not just going to get rent one time. You're going to get it for multiple amounts. And here's Nisi. She went from $23,000 to $50,000. Mark, he went from $32,000 to $166,000. He first went to $50,000. Then he went to 100. Then he got check B. He went to 166. Lorraine, she started slow and then she sped up to 105. Now she's over 150,000 and she keeps on getting money every day. She and Nisi are in the live chats all the time. They keep on getting money. This is how you do it. How do you get check C? You become a member, go down the membership newsletter. It tells you where to apply, who to call, and when to do it. Let's recap. First, go under this video and subscribe. Second, go to the front of this channel. There's a little bell. Make sure that bell is hit to all notifications. Make sure it's set to all notifications. Number 3, go under this video and join and become a member. And you'll see your name with that emoji of a purple hawk behind it in the live chat. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. Join the channel right now. And finally, get that membership newsletter. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the YouTube alert says there's a new LA post. The first line of the alert says the LALATE newsletter. Now, it's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so know your time zone. If you're not West Coast, then know what time zone that is. Number 2, make sure you're always on your phone signed in to YouTube and remained signed in. Some people's phones are signing them out of YouTube. So if you're signed out of YouTube, it doesn't recognize you as a member, even if you are a member. Make sure you remain signed in on your phone. You don't know how to use your phone, contact your cell phone carrier. Number 3, when you see that alert that says new LA post, and then it says newsletter, and it says go down, and then lower in the alert, it says go into the post. You click it, and there you go. That is the newsletter. Apply for check A, check B, check C. It teaches you also about check D. And then get the big new add-on, the brand new free service for members only, the LALATE worksheets. Americans are absolutely talking left and right about these worksheets because no one cares. No one has put anything like this together until I came around. It rolled out less than 7 days ago. What is the LALATE worksheets? It's about the third line of the membership newsletter. And it says LALATE worksheets. You click it, it's a PDF, which you can print out and make notes on. If you don't have a printer, you can make notes on a signed piece of paper based upon what the PDF says. It's 5 pages. Let's go over it right now. The first page is for you to take notes. Remember, you got to learn to earn. Stimulus in 2022, you have to do something to get it. Big checks, you got to do something to get it. And you need to know where this economy is. It has a page on page 1 goes over inflation, recession, labor, and Federal Reserve for you to take notes. But there's a second page that Americans are very excited about. This page is for stimulus. It's a table I created exactly for you based upon your likes and desires. And it's a table for you to take notes. The first column is check A, B, and C. The second column is for you to put in what day you applied. The third column is for you to put in what day you got funded. Next, it says for you to put in what months you're being paid for. It's very important to keep track of what months you're getting paid for the water bill, what months you're getting paid for the electric bill. And then then a column for how much the amount is. And then finally, notes of who your contact is. Very important to establish that relationship with that contact you speak to and make notes of it because you'll be going back to that person for more money later this year as well. The next page is fifth stimulus, and that is your raising up of your benefits, which we're going to go over in just a second. It's a great table for you to take notes and do the calculations for yourself based upon the possible raises that are happening. The sixth page is about gasoline prices for you to take notes. We just went over that early in this video. And finally, student loan debt forgiveness is the final page. What is going to happen on that front? The President of the United States, in my opinion, will forgive all student loan debts that are federal up to $10,000, and that announcement will be happening in less than 30 days. I expect that announcement to happen by the end of August. That major announcement would come in and basically say, if you made $150,000 in that respective calendar year, I'm forgiving your debts. The president previously forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation, people who went to work in the nonprofit or public sector after graduation, and for people whose debts were procured by fraud by the university against them. Meantime, the excitement of your checks going up is so wonderful. How are your checks going to go up? Where does this happen? And how does it work? Let's go over the calculations of this right now. First, I want you to understand that your checks are definitely going up. That statement came in with the Social Security Chief Actuary, Steve Goss, just a few days ago. His projection, 8%. That's about $300 more per month. Not just 1 month, not just 1 year, but lifetime. What is he doing? He's looking at the data that came in for the CPI in the month of May and projecting outward. When we know for certain the month of July, August, and September. What is my analysis? Let's go over the equation right now. Goss is basically looking at the numbers and projecting outward. Let's look at the calculations and how it works. The way your benefits are determined is based upon a series of numbers released in the month of July to September. And Social Security is saying, based upon those numbers, he thinks it's 8% up. I believe it's going to be higher. Let me do the analysis for you. And if it's hideously complex, you can follow along in the membership newsletter on this. Your benefits are tied to a benchmark. That benchmark is called COLA. That benchmark for COLA is announced at the end of the year, but is determined based upon a number called the CPI-W in the month of July, August, and September. Goss saw the CPI, which is the parent number of the CPI-W, in the month of May. It was high. It was really high. And he said, based upon that number, I'm expecting the CPI-W to be basically 8% for July, August, and September. Do I agree? I think it's going to be a little higher. I think it's going to be about 9%. Why? Because, again, you remember, the CPI is composed of gasoline. And if Joseph Biden simply does not buy the 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing per day, as he has not done in March and April, if he continues to not do it, which I don't think he is, then gasoline stays high, maybe even goes higher. And if it continues to go higher, then I think Goss is undervaluing how high that CPI-W will be. I think it's closer to 9%. 9% could be upwards of $350, $400 more per month for your benefits. What does another organization say as well? A Senior League, which is a non-profit organization that looks at the same numbers, they say currently they think it's about 8.6%. Remember, we don't have to guess about this number. We'll watch it on this channel in the month of July when it's released. But if that inflation continues to track higher based upon the gasoline go higher, well, get ready, because there you go. Your benefits are going to go higher as well. Now, the Build Back Better Act, my goodness. The Phoenix has risen. The Phoenix has risen out of the ashes of 2021 and certainly the start of 2022 as well. The Build Back Better Act is back on, baby. Is it going to get passed? Yes. Is it going to get passed before the financial cliff happens? No. Is it going to pay you a check fast enough to avoid the financial cliff? No. That is why you become a member under this video. I'm not going to put Build Back Better Act ever first in the video because it is a backup. It is additional checks on something that is going to make you financially independent, and those are those checks we went over. You become a member, you get those big checks, those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state, and then after you survive the financial cliff, after you survive the next 90 days, then you get ready for the wonders of the Build Back Better Act. Let's go over the breaking news on that starting tonight. It's a lot of breaking news. First, there's a vote. There's a vote. Oh my goodness. We're going to go over the vote. We're going to go over the negotiations. We're going to go over the narratives and what you need to know and what you need to ignore. And then we'll go over the substance of the Build Back Better Act. First, the vote. Leader Schumer now represents that the vote will happen by the month of July, by the end of the month of July. And that is really exciting. Nancy Pelosi says much the same thing. Nancy Pelosi's quote, however, one sheet will potentially result in laughter by some viewers of this channel. What is Nancy Pelosi's vote? What is Nancy Pelosi's quote? Not quote about the vote. Nancy Pelosi's quote about the vote is that it would make sense to get it done before the month of July. Well, of course it would make sense, Nancy. She says that the rest of the world is not waiting for the U.S. to act, and we need to move quickly. Here's what Schumer and Nancy Pelosi say. There's no reason that we should not pass this through Congress in July. We need to work with the urgency that the situation deserves. The urgency that started the bill last year. Now, why are we laughing about that quote? Because Nancy Pelosi has a very bad history with the month of July. Let's recap Nancy Pelosi's history with the month of July. First, in July 2020, Nancy Pelosi was told to extend FPUC before it expired, so that you get $600 a week from then till September, which is about $12,000. What did she do? She let it expire. Then she didn't get it done. In 2021, Nancy Pelosi said that she was going to get the vote on the Build Back Better Act done then, before the August recess. Did she get that one done? No, she didn't get that one done either. So we're sort of 0 for 2 so far. So do I think they're going to get it done by the month of July? Based upon Nancy's track record, no. But let's go to the negotiations. This is where I'm very, very excited. In the last week, we learned on Friday that in the last week, the four corners of Congress have met and came to an agreement in principle on everything in the Build Back Better Act. My goodness. The top leaders of the Congress who are Democrats and the top leaders of the Senate who are Democrats both agreed in the last 7 days on the principles and the substance of the Build Back Better Act. This is huge. It gets better than that. We also learned that late last week, as late as potentially Thursday, but it's not clear exactly what day it was, Leader Schumer, who's reportedly been meeting with Joe Manchin on a regular basis, finally got an agreement from Joe Manchin on prescription medication. Yes, they got an agreement solidifying the end of the confusion on the lower prescription medication. It's done. Lower prescription medication is in the Build Back Better Act. So that is the scope of the negotiations and the agreements. There appears to be no other major holdouts. Now, with that, I want to go over the reaction, the narrative you want to avoid, and I also want to go over the substance of the Build Back Better Act. First, the reaction. The reaction among Democrats is they believe it's going to get done. Joe Manchin agreeing as well, and Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. I believe it's going to get done as well. Then Mitch McConnell. Remember, if you're new to this channel, let me go over what this bill is. The bill is a reconciliation bill, meaning it's done only by Democrats. They do not need a single Republican to pass this through Congress. Mitch McConnell wants you to forget that. So Mitch McConnell said that, let me make this perfectly clear, that there'll be no bipartisan USICA if the Democrats continue to pass the Reconciliation Act. I'll explain what that's going on in just a second. The reaction to that is that they believe it's going to get done. And the spokesperson for Joseph Biden says, we're not going to back down in the face of an outrageous threat. Ron Portman said the bipartisan is not part of the negotiations. And Donald Byer, who is the Democrat out of Virginia, Ways and Means Committee member, said it's typical classic McConnell, talking about something that has nothing to do with what you're talking about. Now, let me explain what McConnell is trying to make potentially you get confused about. And let me also explain something that I expect for you to see across the landscape of reporting. McConnell's referring to a bipartisan negotiation and a bipartisan bill, and that if the Democrats try to push this recon, the Build Back Better Act, through Congress, the Republicans will withdraw support for the bipartisan legislation. Is that that thing I remember? That's probably what you're doing. Wait a second, Allied. Is that the roads and bridges bipartisan? I thought that's law. It is law. That is not that bipartisan. It's another bipartisan. Another year, another bipartisan. This time around, it's a bipartisan bill that Republicans and Democrats both want for chips, not chocolate chips. They're chips that go in computers and chips that go into your cars. They want this bipartisan legislation passed. And the Republicans are basically threatening the Democrats, saying, hey, if you do your recon, we won't support the bipartisan legislation. Smoke? Yeah, it's complete smoke. Just ignore it. Number two, I fully believe that faux news, and you know who I'm referring to, will likely run quotes from Joe Manchin about the Build Back Better Act from 2021, early 2022, where he said, "Dad, never happening." That's not the current breaking news update tonight. So I don't want you to get confused if you see old quotes from old months. It's not the breaking news tonight. Finally, the substance of the Build Back Better Act. They're not giving us a big update on the substance of the Build Back Better Act. They're not telling us this survived, that didn't survive. But let me go over what I believe, based upon the history of the negotiations between these people, based upon what they have said in 2021 and 2022, what I believe is going to survive and what I believe is going to get lost. First, the entire Build Back Better Act is about $15,000 to $80,000. Second, there's a series of add-ons, $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. I think that would likely survive because the housing industry is out of control. The mortgage rates are the worst levels of 20 years of applications, the lowest levels of 20 years. And I believe they would include that provision still. And then $250 billion for free home health care for seniors and people with disabilities. Do I believe that would survive? It is sort of in the realm of the prescription medication cheaper, so I believe so far. Finally, MSC, $2,000 a month, $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, is what legislators back in 2021 told thousands of viewers of this channel would go in. Do I believe it's going to survive? I don't know. I really do not know if it would survive, but let me remind you, because a lot of people are trying to reinvent history, the MSCs is $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. That's $6,500. $6,500. The checks I have for you in every U.S. state are $100,000. So there's a very big differences between the amount of money. You get those checks available today. You don't wait for MSC. Let's go over the three clusters of checks in the Build Back Better Act and whether the provisions would survive or not. In that first cluster, there's hazard pay. Hazard pay, $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. And if you make less, you just split it in half. This is for individuals who have to stay home for work due to sickness or illness, or if an individual in the household is sick. Do I think it'll survive? Yes. That's the earned income. The earned income tax credit, would that survive? That would be earned income tax credit. Would the CTC survive? The $4,000 of elder care, and would the $4,000 of care for young children? I believe that would all survive. The home repairs in the first cluster, I believe that would all survive. So I basically think everything in the first cluster is surviving. Second cluster, I believe the paid leave is gone. Joe Manchin was very much against this provision. I believe that's gone. The home repairs likely to stay as well. And then that third cluster, if we believe that the cheaper medication is much what we're talking about with the seniors relief, then maybe, otherwise then no. In that third cluster, we have dental, vision, hearing, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 55, and the Medicaid gap fix. If Manchin was in favor of the lower prescription medication, then maybe he's likely in favor of these provisions. But again, we really don't know. The takeaway tonight is that Americans are dealing with the uncertainty of an economy. A White House that is not getting gasoline prices down. Economists who are signaling that we may already tonight be in recession. And Americans who are off celebrating 4th of July not realizing that a recession may have already started in this economy. If this is an ingredient for big trouble, then what else would there be? This is why you cannot wait to get a forced stimulus check. You do it tonight. You go right on this video, become a member. You get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you get those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Do not wait, folks. Please do yourself a service. Become a member. Get this money. Get the $100,000 on average in every U.S. state tonight. You get it before this economy gets worse, or before the worst situation of this economy happens sooner than initially thought. Get it tonight, and throughout the night, we'll continue with a coverage with Evenings LALATE every night at 5 o'clock. Evenings Countdown at 6 o'clock. Stream Stimulus at 7. Evenings Extra at 8. 9 o'clock is Sunset. And our hit show, Evenings LALATE Live, every night starting at 5:45 from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Good evening. God bless. Have a beautiful 4th of July weekend. I will be with you every day with live broadcasts, new and breaking news by the hour, on the hour. Have a beautiful night. Stay informed, stay focused. Stay here. Get every pot of money you can get. And don't ever lose your focus, your positivity, and your approach to this economy. Have a beautiful night. And from my home to your home, please stay safe. Please stay safe. And have a beautiful night. And stay with LA for more.